Hello and welcome to Solar Alberta's Alberta Renewables Training Information Night. We are delighted to have so many people register for this event. Please note that we will be recording this session for future distribution. My name is Stephanie Westland, and I am the Solar Training Lead at Solar Alberta. I would like to take a minute to acknowledge that I am hosting you today and working day-to-day from Moginstis, also known as Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which is located on the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. This includes the Blackfoot Confederacy, made up of the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, the Îethka Stoney Nakoda Nations, made up of the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Goodstoney bands, and the Tsuut'ina First Nation. Calgary is also homeland to the historic Northwest Métis and to Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. Today, we have short presentations by representatives from NAIT, Northwest College, Lakeland College, and Red Deer Polytechnic, all of which offer training in solar and solar-related topics. Following their presentations, there will be a question and answer period in which you can all participate. The entire session will wrap up in about an hour and a half. Did you know that Solar Alberta has been around now for 33 years? Albertans have been excited about solar energy for a while. We are a non-for-profit society that is dedicated to accelerating Alberta's energy transition to a just and sustainable energy future. We do so by advocating, educating, and serving as an industry and community hub for solar energy. Our membership is made up of over 270 individuals and over 155 businesses. We have over 21,000 followers. We provide a number of services, including managing a solar directory through our website. In this way, we act as a bridge for installers, suppliers, and other solar-related businesses to connect with their customers and clients. Our directory gets over 48,000 hits each year. You can see a screenshot of the directory here on the slide and a link to it in our chat. In addition to our website services, we run a number of educational programs, including our solar show, a solar seminar series, and a number of in-person and online networking events each year. The 2025 solar show will run from February 3rd to 7th, 2025. More details about the sessions and the speakers will be available soon. Recordings of previous solar show sessions and seminars can be found on our Solar Alberta YouTube channel. Please sign up for our newsletter and follow us on social media to find out about all of our upcoming events. This fall, we are once again offering a number of online courses for solar industry professionals or those transitioning into the sector. Our courses are online Tuesday and Thursday evenings on 3 to 5 nights over 2 to 3 weeks. First up is Working with Wire Providers, which is intended for anyone wanting to learn about the wire providers in Alberta, such as EPCOR, ENMAX, ATCO, and Fortis, the regulatory landscape, the interconnection processes, typical project hurdles, and tools to help with project interconnection. You can register for all of our courses at the link in the chat. And backed by popular demand, we are offering our solar training course bundle. This bundle includes the 4 technical courses on the roster: solar PV systems, design and modeling, electrical code, commissioning, operations and maintenance, and battery energy storage systems design and modeling. The link to purchase the bundle is also available in the chat. Solar Alberta's courses mostly focus on the rooftop solar sector, although the upcoming Working with Wire Providers also touches on other renewables. Because the courses are online weekday evenings, they are ideal for people who are working or caregiving during the 8 to 5 timeframe. As a nonprofit, our courses are very affordable, but short in length, somewhere between 6 to 10 hours each, and most are appropriate for professional development purposes. Depending on the course, the target demographic is electricians, structural engineers, people working in sales and marketing, entrepreneurs, and so on. We have no prerequisites, but some of our technical courses do require knowledge of the Canadian Electrical Code and electrical theory and terminology. Recordings of these courses are also available for sale alongside our paid workshops in the Solar Training Videos section of our website. A link to our on-demand offerings is being placed in the chat. In other education-related news, we are pleased to announce the 3rd Solar Alberta Diversity Scholarship. This scholarship is intended for equity-deserving individuals. Through the scholarship, we are seeking to promote inclusivity, amplify historically marginalized voices, and encourage diverse participation in the solar and solar-related sector. We will award $2,000 to one equity-deserving individual registered in an Alberta training program that aligns with our mission. We are accepting applications until October 31st. Eligibility details and the scholarship application are available by clicking the link in the chat. We are thankful to Enbridge for sponsoring this scholarship. In addition to the free public education and affordable professional development that we provide, we also have an upcoming in-person networking event in Edmonton, Solar Friends and Networking, on October 3rd at 1 p.m. Mountain Time at Ale Architect Brewery and Tap Room. We will be providing space to all solar curious and enthusiastic champions of green energy and green builds to network with each other. All are welcome. Pre-registration for this event can be completed through the link in the chat. In addition to providing education about solar and networking events for the solar community, we also advocate for solar. We are currently rising up for renewables. We have free lawn signs available for pickup in 10 municipalities and also free delivery in 8 municipalities around Alberta. We are very thankful to our dedicated volunteers for making so much free delivery possible. We also have template letters for you to use on our website, asking the Government of Alberta to eliminate the new and discriminatory buffer zones they have established for renewable energy. Your support with our advocacy efforts is very important. You can click on the link in the chat to make a free sign order or find our template letters today. Another resource for those of you who are hoping to work in the renewables industry is our Solar Work Wednesday updates. Every Wednesday, we publish a list of the current solar job opportunities available throughout Alberta. Even if you are not currently looking for a job, it's a great way to gain an understanding of the different types of work available in the industry. The jobs listings link is being placed in the chat. And finally, if you are not already, I do encourage you to become a member of Solar Alberta. We are constantly evolving our membership offerings, some of which include discounts on our courses and workshops, access to members-only content, and more. We've discounted student memberships to half price for the month of September, making them only $10. But make sure you hurry. The sale ends September 30th. They can be purchased from the link in the chat. If you are looking to support the work that we are doing at Solar Alberta, please consider volunteering or donating. The link to be a general volunteer is being popped in the chat, as well as links to our donation page and our annual 50/50. And now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our presenters for this information night. David Pickup is joining us from Norquest College. David leads the Energy Management Diploma at Norquest in Edmonton, Alberta. This interdisciplinary program delivers students with the analytical, management, and technical skills to succeed in the critical energy and climate space. He has 10 years of experience planning, analyzing, and executing clean energy initiatives, including quantifying opportunities and designing strategies for clients of Dunsky Energy and Climate Advisors, leading corporate planning with a public energy efficiency agency, and heading up a policy advocacy and analysis for the UK's solar industry. Next, we'll hear from Dean Bai from Red Deer Polytechnic. Dean works as the Electrical and Alternative Energy Lab Technician at Red Deer Polytechnic. He is a certified master electrician with more than 20 years of experience in electrical installations, design, and maintenance, and over 6 years in the solar energy sector focused on design, operations, and maintenance. Dean started with Red Deer Polytechnic in 2018. He's a key member of the Data Share Alliance project, a collaboration between industry solar microgenerators and Red Deer Polytechnic to collect and analyze data for the Alberta environment. Recently, Dean has started a battery energy storage system collaboration between RDP Campus Management and the Energy Innovation Center. This pilot project will bring energy storage to Red Deer Polytechnic and will be used for peak shaving. Then we'll hear from Doug McFarland from NATE. Doug is the chair of the Alternative Energy Technology Program at NATE. He and other staff from the Alternative Energy Program worked as a team to design and install systems on their own houses in 2022. And Doug installed a 7.4 kilowatt solar PV system on his own house. Working with a partner Light Up the World, Doug has been leading teams of NATE students on off-grid solar energy system installation projects in remote communities high in the Andes Mountains of Peru since 2017, bringing clean, reliable electricity and now wireless internet to communities in need. Finally, we'll be hearing from Kathleen Couturier from Lakeland College. Established in 1913, Lakeland College is a place of possibility that serves more than 6,400 students yearly at its campuses in Vermilion, Alberta, and Lloydminster, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and through online and off-site programs and courses. Kathleen has been with Lakeland for the last 10 years. She has over 20 years of experience in administration, coordination, and graphic design. Her focus at Lakeland is coordinating the Sustainable Energy Technology Diploma and the micro-credential programs. The Sustainable Energy Technology programming at Lakeland aligns with her values to play a part in the renewable energy transition. I will now pass the mic over to David Pickup so that he can tell you a little bit more about Northwest College. Thanks.
Thanks so much for the introduction, Stephanie. My name's David. I'm the program chair for the Energy Management Diploma here in Northwest, which is in Edmonton, Treaty 6 territory. I'm going to cover just three things within this next kind of 10 minutes or so. First of all, introductions, who am I and who is Northwest and the team I work in. Secondly, why you should be interested in this. I hope that by joining this call, you're already interested in this space. But a couple of reasons why you might be interested in this area in general. I think what I'll say will kind of apply to all of the programs we're looking at tonight. And then finally, I'll go into a little bit more depth into our program and what we offer. So first of all, just to cover myself. So as I said, my name's David. Stephanie's covered already quite a bit of this. Yeah, I have a partner, Emma. I have a 2-year-old daughter named Blake, who's just currently in bath time. So apologies if you hear any screaming. And I have 2 dogs. Maybe you can hear one of them barking. They're just hanging out outside. And my role at Northwest is the program chair, where I run the program. So I have sort of that leadership responsibility, but I also teach in the program. I teach our introductory course, which is a 1-week intensive orientation course. I teach a policy course to the second years, and I also teach a new course we've just started this year for our second years, which is all around workforce readiness. If you haven't heard of Northwest before, we're really kind of Edmonton's community college, have a real focus on getting people ready for the workforce. I think our tagline is from class to career. Have about 13,000 credit students and I think maybe 7,000 non-credit. Have a bunch of different diploma programs, as you can see listed there. We do have a downtown campus in Edmonton. We do have a Wetaskiwin campus, which is south of Edmonton, and we do work in a couple of other places around the province as well. I'm in a team called STEM, which is Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. We're a relatively new team. All of our programs in this area are less than 4 years old. You can see the energy management diploma there. We also have an environmental technician diploma if you're really looking at getting into things like forestry or reclamation, or what I call the squishy stuff of environmentalism. That might be an interesting option to look into. And we also have a more tech focused program which has a real kind of data and machine learning focus. Our instructors are from industry mainly. We do have a PhD from the U of A on our team, but another one of our instructors is a master electrician and comes with that industry background. And I myself don't have an academic background. I have an industry background. We really focus on giving teachings that are helpful in your future career, as well as experiences through your diploma that align with that. So just yesterday, we went over to City Hall as part of my policy course and met a city councillor and kind of learned about her role, just as an example of one. We are launching new programs. I can't really speak about them yet because they're not publicly known, but we are looking at new programs. We are looking at growing student intakes, all that kind of stuff. So do keep an eye on us, even if you're not looking to join our programs right now. So why energy management? 3 reasons. 1, there's loads of jobs. 15% of the labor force is going to be impacted in some way. Huge kind of opportunity in the energy industry and energy management specifically. Um, all those sort of sectors and job roles are a good fit for our diploma specifically. Secondly, making an impact. If you're keen to, try and have an impact on climate change, this graph just shows 3/4 of the current greenhouse gas emissions are from the energy sector. And so, if we're looking at where in your career and your life you can make an impact, energy is really going to be that space if we're talking about greenhouse gas reductions. And finally, it's such an interesting and dynamic industry. That quote at the top, I find really inspiring. You know, achieving the goals that we've set globally will require nothing short than a complete transformation of the energy system. And you think about things like going from before electricity to electricity, or you think about the transition from horses to cars, and we're kind of talking globally scales above that in terms of the change that we require. This graph just shows in Alberta the energy or the electricity generated from different sources, and you can see the black line up there at coal. So just 10 years ago, it was generating it was the largest capacity, certainly in terms of the Albertan electricity system. And now essentially the system is coal free, and you can see wind and solar have been a big part of that replacement. So just one example of one of the many transitions that are happening. Okay, in terms of our program, so it's a 2-year diploma with 2 terms per year. So you go September to December, and then January to April, and then May until September is off. There's no classes. We have about 30 students per class. Excuse me. We have about 30 students in our class, and at the moment we just have one section, was what we call. We are looking to grow that over time, but our goal is to not have big classrooms. We have lots of work integrated learning within the program. We also have an optional co-op. All of our classes pretty much are in person. So if you're looking for an online program, that's not something we offer right now. And our program is typically full-time. That's the kind of usual setup. But there are options to do things part-time as well over a longer period of time. Apologies, I do have a cold. Thankfully, you don't need to be 6 feet away from your speakers. In terms of the philosophy, we really cover a broad range of topics, and we do cover those technical skills and give you some knowledge around the sector, but we have a real focus on professional skills. So we have things like project management, change management, communication. A lot of these courses that you'll see are focused on a more generalist approach rather than being hyper specific into a particular kind of technology or area. Lots of real world examples. We basically don't have any exams in our program. Everything is assessment based, and those assessments are designed to help you with tasks that you would do in your actual roles. So we do things like project charters or project proposals or presentations, and a lot of these things that you'll then use in your future career. Our program is also textbook free, so everything's based on openly available resources, and our instructors kind of develop those courses and that content based on the latest industry thinking. In terms of admissions, you can look all of this. This is all on the website as well. But there's a bunch of admissions things. The thing I want to make very clear is that this is under review. So by the time you come to apply for fall 2025, this may have changed. So we're looking at adding additional pathways, particularly things like Math 30-2 and English 30-2, as well as more broadly a kind of open admissions pathway. So again, kind of check back if you're watching this in a few months' time, or if you're just kind of curious, please kind of review this again. Costs and all of that kind of stuff is on our website as well. Roughly looking at about $17,000 for the 2-year diploma. That does not include the optional co-op. As I mentioned, there's zero cost for textbook and other learning materials. For anyone who identifies as a woman, we have full scholarships that are available through our 1,000 Women for STEM bursary. Definitely recommend looking at that if that applies for you. And there are various other scholarships, bursaries, and awards, including, of course, the Enbridge diversity one that Stephanie just mentioned. Who is our program for? Ultimately it's for everyone. Norquest really kind of prides itself on that. But if one of those four blocks, applies to you, and you're just kind of curious if this might be an option, we do have an open house coming up. I don't have a slide on it, but you can have a look, and you can come and chat to me, and you'll get to see this presentation again. And you can also talk to some of our program advisors. Yeah. I'm not going to spend time on this slide, but these are all of our courses. This is all available on the website as well. But yeah, we do have that optional work term, which is either the first summer or the second summer, which happy to answer more questions on later. Okay, and the final thing that I just want to mention is next Wednesday, so a week today, we do have an event at the college for Energy Efficiency Day, which is all about careers. And we have some former students talking about their career pathways, as well as some other folks. I think actually a graduate of the NATE program. So if you're around, it's free to join. The Eventbrite link's there. I'll throw it in the chat in a bit. Please do come along, and if you want to chat further about any of this. And I'll stop talking now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. And now we'll hear from Dean from Red Deer Polytechnic.
Hi, yes, my name's Dean Bai. I'm the here at the Red Deer Polytechnic. I just want to start a little bit about the Energy Innovation Center that I'm part of. It was built in 2018 with the main focus was on small and medium-sized industry partners in applied research. It is the first few years were a little bit slow, and but we've really picked up in the last couple of years. So with that, we also have students that are also a big part of the Innovation Center, and most of the students that we have come through are the electrical apprenticeship trade students, and they have been coming through for the past since 2019 to gain a little bit of solar knowledge, mostly through the first year of their training. But recently, this year, the solar has been included into the curriculum, and so they're going to be that's going to be more part of their training now. So every student will actually be learning how to install and maintain some of these systems. We also employ some summer students, and most of these students are project-based, so they'll do data analysts. We have some software engineers doing some programming. We have electrical engineers and some business students that do a variety of different projects. But they're also, we do have some of them come in through the fall and winter terms to do some of the work too. We also collaborate with our campus management group, and some of the pilot projects, like the battery project that we have going on right now. They'll build upon that to give them more capacity. So it's really an exciting program or project, sorry, that's been taking a couple of years to get going, but it's very slow. And then one of the other projects that we were working on is the Data Share Alliance. This is a collaborative group that has partnered with small and medium businesses that have microgeneration installed, usually on the roof. But we do have a couple that have ground mount systems. And what we're doing is we're collecting and analyzing that data to hopefully be able to optimize the system performance and to predict faults in their early stages. So, and we was also partnered with several small and medium industrial partners to help find solutions to electrification. We have performed studies on EV adoption and the effects that it will have on electrical grid. The students have also done a study for heat pumps and what their their effects will be on the grid, and how they actually operate in the Alberta climate. And so Red Deer Polytechnic has partnered with Stardust Solar out of Burnaby, BC, and this is their first offering of training that we'll be doing, and it's a micro-credential course that's really geared towards electricians, but there is no prerequisite for the course itself. Anyone is welcome to take it. It's just that there is a lot of technical things that may be challenging for the non-electrician, such as electrical code. So, and it is a 6-week course that is all online. And there will be one Saturday where they come in and they will be able to install a system on top of a roof that is inside the lab. We'll also do the sorry. We'll so that we have 3 this year, and the fall and winter and spring. So the fall one will run from October to November, with the hands-on day being in November. And again, the winter, February to March, or January to March, and then spring, April to May. So after completing the course, the students will be able to take their NABCEP PV Associate exam and their CSA Solar Voltaic System exam. So so the hands-on day, like I said, will consist of installing and on top of the asphalt roof inside the lab itself. So it's, right low to the ground. So there's no risk to the students actually to harm themselves really from falling. So it makes it a nice safe space. We'll do some other things like cable assembly. We also have a IV curve tracer that we'll be using on, hopefully we'll be able to go outside and use it on the system outside, but failing that, we'll be using them on the systems inside. So so this is really new to RDP. The first course is set to start October 1st. And yeah, that's pretty much all that I've had. Other than, the Polytechnic itself has 4,200 modules on its roofs, as well as one of the residents. We have it's clad on the east, west, and the south sides there. So we do have quite the variety of systems on campus that we can actually do some performance reviews and go out and actually test those systems to see how they are performing. So like I said, this is a really new program that we hope will have a whole bunch of uptake. We're just hoping for the best.
Sounds great, Dean. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Next, we are going to hear from Doug McFarland from NATE.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me here, and thanks everybody for coming. I'm Doug McFarland. I'm the program chair for the Alternative Energy Technology program at NATE. It is a 2-year diploma program, and we prepare...
I am not seeing your screen share.
Oh, sorry. There we go. That's better. Let me go back. There we go. All right. Yeah, sorry. As I was saying, I'm Doug McFarland, the program chair for the Alternative Energy Technology program at NATE. It's a 2-year diploma program, and we prepare students for a variety of different types of careers in the renewable energy industry, such as the solar industry. We also prepare students to work in the industry dealing with greener buildings, building better buildings, and making buildings better. more energy efficient and that sort of thing. A lot of our graduates work in sustainability offices. They do clean energy project development, that kind of thing. Our graduates are able to do installations and operations and maintenance, but they can also do some other higher order things as well, like design and optimize clean energy systems, develop business cases, and conduct feasibility studies. They can perform energy modeling, energy auditing, and energy management. And our graduates are in very high demand in industry. Over 93% of our graduates are working in the industry right now. The first job that our graduates often get when they finish the program is, it's typically an entry-level position within a company in the clean energy sector. For example, they may become a solar installer, but what we find is that very quickly our graduates move up to higher levels of responsibility within their companies. And that's because we train them far beyond just being a solar installer. Our students learn about system design and site evaluation and feasibility and project management and all sorts of things like that. So a student might start as an installer and become an electrician and then become a crew chief or a supervisor. Others may start off right away as a system designer and then get into sales and customer care. And then other students or other graduates of our program end up going into project development, or they become project managers, things like that. A fair number of our graduates actually start their own businesses, either in the solar sector or in energy management, energy advising, that kind of thing. Our students, we have a very wide range of different kinds of students that join our program. Some come right out of high school, but about half of our students probably are looking for a change. They want to switch gears and do something different with their lives, change careers or upgrade. Sometimes they come to us with experience or certification in the trades, like they could be electricians or HVAC specialists. Some of them have degrees, bachelor degrees, or even advanced degrees like masters and PhDs. And some of them have professional designations like a professional engineer or a professional or a project management professional. But basically, all of our students have one thing in common. They come to us because they have a passion for new technology and the environment. And really what they want to do is be a part of a growing industry where there's going to be lots and lots of jobs and opportunity in the future. And they want to make a positive change in the world. Our program is 4 semesters. In the first semester, our students get a very strong foundation of fundamental, really kind of important academic competencies and workplace competencies, just basic skills that will serve them well in the industry for years to come. And we also explore the fundamental scientific concepts and the technical aspects of electrical energy, thermal energy, and chemical energy like biofuels. And our students also learn a number of different software applications that are used in the industry. In the second semester, our students take a deep dive and explore a whole bunch of different kinds of clean energy technologies. We've got classes on solar and wind and hydro, geothermal, energy storage, such as battery energy storage systems. And students learn how to do troubleshooting and installation work and all sorts of things in that second semester. So overall, in the first year, our students have a whole bunch of really good kind of workplace competencies, and they have a pretty good understanding of how individual technologies work. In the second year, in the third semester, our students put it all together. They learn how to design a hybridized energy system that would be effective and make sense, technically make sense for a particular situation, for a certain client, a building, or for a business or something like that. Our students also learn how to do project management, which is very valuable out there in industry. And they learn how to look at the economics and business aspects of a particular project, conduct feasibility studies, build a business case, that kind of thing. Make sure that the project makes sense financially. And then in the fourth semester, our students have an opportunity to show their stuff. We partner our students with an industry partner They work with a company out there in the industry on a real world problem, on a capstone project, and those capstone projects often lead to jobs. Our students also learn about life cycle assessment and carbon accounting, energy management, energy auditing, energy modeling. They learn a whole bunch of sophisticated software applications, which gives them some very valuable skills out in industry as well. And in that second year, our students have an opportunity to specialize through some elective classes. In each semester, students can take an elective and specialize. Some of our students specialize in large-scale renewable energy generation projects, such as a project to build a new solar farm or a wind farm, something like that. Some of our students specialize in green buildings and energy efficiency, retrofits, making better buildings. Some of our students take a deep dive into sophisticated control systems and microgrids. And then our last specialization is in global energy issues and intercultural competency, which is a particular passion of mine. That's a class that I teach. And as a part of that class, me and some of the other NATE staff and the students in the class, we travel to Peru. And we go to a remote community way up high in the Andes Mountains, and we install a clean energy system there, an off-grid solar PV system with battery energy storage. And we also bring wireless internet. We go to a community where they didn't have access to electricity in the past, and they didn't have internet access, and we bring these services to these communities. It's a very rewarding class. Here's a picture from a project in 2018 when we went to a community called Chilca in Peru. Our program is structured so that you can take it full-time or part-time, but the classes and labs are always during regular business hours, Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to around 4 p.m. So it's difficult to work full-time in a regular kind of job. And our classes are all in person. We don't currently have an online option. The tuition cost for year one is a little over $5,000. And if you add in books and supplies, plus we require that you have a pretty good computer as well. You get a total of just under $9,000 for year one. And then in year two, you don't have to buy the computer because you already have it. So the cost is a little lower at a little over $7,000 in total. There are lots and lots of different scholarships and awards available for our program. I couldn't possibly put them all onto one slide in this presentation, so I just sort of made a list here of some of the ones that are unique and only available to students in the Alternative Energy Program in NATE, plus a few other scholarships that our students have had some good success of getting in the past. So to apply, you go to the NATE website and click on admissions. For domestic students, you apply through the Alberta Post-Secondary Application System. For international students, there's an application process right on the NATE website. Our next intake is in September, fall of 2025, and we are now currently accepting applications. We've got very small classes in our program. We only accept 24 new students per year, which is fantastic for learning because you get to know your instructors really well, and I love getting to know the students very well as well. In terms of entrance requirements, you need to have grade 12 English and math, grade 11 chemistry and physics. If you don't currently have those requirements, then we offer upgrading classes at NATE where you can take those classes. And if you've completed some post-secondary education in the past, then we don't look at your high school. We'll just look at your last 8 classes from a related field. So if you took any science or technology or engineering or something like that, we look at the last 24 credits that you completed. So yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Again, I'm Doug McFarlane, and there's my email.
Thanks very much, Doug. And last, we will hear from Kathleen from, I want to say Vermilion, but no, Lakeland College. There we go.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me to introduce our program here. My name is Kathleen. I'm with Lakeland College, and I'm going to talk to you about the Sustainable Energy Technology program at Lakeland College. So this is a picture of actually our solar installations at the Vermilion campus. So some of the program highlights that we have is we have certificate, diploma, and micro-credential options. We have been offering this program online since 2008, and we have an on-site lab to support the online learning at the end of the diploma, a research center with state-of-the-art renewable energy installations, and the program is taught by industry experts. So a little bit about the stats. So 40% of our students are between the age of 25 to 40 years old. About 42% are between 41 to 55 years old. So we have quite a mature students participation. And 70% of our students are from Alberta and the rest are from all over Canada. And majority of our students work part-time or full-time while they're doing the program. So a little bit about the scope of the program. So on the technical side of things, we teach wind, solar, geothermal, bioenergy, and biofuel, building science, building electrical code, systems integration, building controls and automation, energy conservation, on-site lab, hands-on learning, AutoCAD, and energy storage. And on the critical and practical thinking, we have communication. This is where we touch on the technical writing and proposals, project management, energy and the environment, climate change, business, water conservation, recycling and product life cycle, and carbon accounting. So there's various entry and exit points in our program. So as you can see on this chart, anything that's in yellow is a certificate level course and anything in green is a diploma level course. So there's so many different ways that you can enter the program. Some courses have prerequisites, but a lot of them don't. So during the year, there's so many times where you can actually enter the program. You choose a course that doesn't have a prerequisite and that's how you can get started. So there's some courses that are missing from this chart, but it just gives you a general idea of your study path that could be. So general information about the program, we don't have any admission requirement. Who is this for? This is for professionals mostly, retraining or upskilling. We have multiple entry and exit points, as I pointed out in the previous slide. Each course is 45 hours long, and the on-site lab is offered at the end of the program, and that reinforces the skills developed in the online courses. So that's only if you're going to do the diploma program. There's some smaller labs that are also available in the micro-credentials. So some of the accreditations here that we have, our program is fully government accredited, so we are eligible for student funding if you decide to go that route. Of course, Lakeland College has a extensive list of various scholarships that I'm not going to even try to mention here. Another cool accreditation that's that you can get with the solar courses is the NAPCEP. So NAPCEP stands for Board of Certified Energy Practitioners, and that's basically a US standard. So we've been aligned with NAPCEP from the beginning, and we are recognized training providers with them. So you can work your way up from NAPCEP Associate to NAPCEP Professional Installer, Commissioner. So there's a way to extend your certifications here with NAPCEP. And last but not least, the LEED certification offered through the Canadian Green Building Council. So this is more about the building science side of things. And so we provide you with a good foundation to pursue that later on if you choose to do so. So some of the careers, of course, as other mentions, it's fairly similar: installer, maintenance, sales representative, municipalities and government agencies, building manager or operator, consultant for policy developments for involving renewable energy projects, assessment advisors for costs and benefits of renewable energy and energy conservation installations, technician for solar designs, and middle management positions. So there's lots of possibilities. I couldn't possibly name them all. So just want to point out here, this is a picture of our students during the on-site lab. So they go through the full site assessment, shade analysis, design, and they do 2 different installs. So it's a pretty good lab to get their hands-on learning done. Just next slide here, sorry. So a few success stories here. This is Joshua Reed. He, oops, I went too fast here, sorry. So he was a Red Seal journeyman electrician, worked in the oil field for about 10 years. He decided to make a switch. So he took our program and found a job as a solar installer. And he's been doing really well in his career so far. He's been the past 2 years, he's been installing solar on commercial rooftop, and he's been a foreman now for 2.5 megawatt and approximately 7,000 modules installed, and it's probably beyond that by now. And his plans are to take his NAPCEP associate and then followed by the professional certification. So he's done really well, and his background was electrician, so there's a really good fit for him. Sean Sales was a manager for a retail paint shop for about 10 years. He worked in the road construction industry. And so he took a program, and then after the program, he passed his Natural Resources Canada exam, became an energy advisor, and he paired that with the skills that he learned in the program for solar. And then he did 2 feasibility studies for local businesses and local electrical companies. And that allowed him to first he became an NAPCEP associate, and then these installs allowed him to become a commissioning and installations professional with NAPCEP. So he recently moved to the West Coast and worked full-time as an energy advisor, and was recently promoted as to a management role. So he's more into the building science. Alicia Couteau, she is an entrepreneur, lecturer, teacher, advocate of renewable energy and energy efficiency in Canada. She's also teaching in the program for us. So she is also a co-owner of Couteau Consulting and Engineering. She's a founding member of the Renfrew Solar Garden, a community-owned renewable energy project in Calgary. So Alicia holds a Master's of Sustainability and Energy Security with undergraduate in renewable energy. So she really did pursue her studies further and obtain her master's degree after the program. So she's definitely involved in the net zero industry as we speak. Jill McDavid is another success story. She was her background was chemical engineer, and she spent 14 years away from the workforce to raise her children. And so she worked in the oil and gas before she took a break. And so she decided to take the program. And after she graduated, she briefly consulted for a waste to energy company out of Edmonton. And as of fall of 2023, she started working at Skyfire Energy as a residential solar PV project manager. She's handling permits, equipment procurement, design review, project scheduling, job scope, and customer orientation. So these are a few of my success stories that I have for you tonight. So this little bit about the micro-credentials. So we have 7 micro-credentials available. There's one focusing on building science, solar, geo-exchange, small business management, climate change and energy conservation, bioenergy and biofuel, emerging renewable energy technologies. So I'm giving you a really quick overview here. So of course, solar PV micro-credential, a big highlight is the NAPCEP certifications you can get. The geothermal micro-credential is about the geo-exchange, and unique to this program is a heat and energy recapturing, cogeneration, energy exchange system integration. On the bioenergy and biofuel micro-credential, a unique course to this lineup is the hydrogen course. Building science micro-credential, this is the one focusing on building science, where you can become an energy advisor and you can get your Natural Resources Canada exams done. And so small business management, you get an AutoCAD out of that, and project management and small business skills. Climate change and energy conservation. This is another good lineup for, especially if you want to go in a government and municipality kind of work. There's a carbon monitoring and management course as part of this lineup. And as last but not least, emerging renewable energy technologies, which touches on wind energy. Like you can choose courses within this one if you want to add to your trainings. So wind energy storage and hydrogen are also available for those options. So as I said earlier, our courses are Like you can complete 1 micro-credential or 3, you can stack them, making a certificate. You can add more courses, make it a diploma. It's short and flexible. We have online courses. You can maintain employment while taking the courses. Only takes a few months to finish. And there's further education possibilities to that. So you can accumulate micro-credentials to make it a diploma. You can also, after your diploma, pursue university studies. And also we have a great agreement with NATE with their Bachelor of Technology. So this is also a great further education option. And it's open to all, it's students from all backgrounds and no education levels. All education levels. And there's no prerequisite. So a little bit, 2 examples here. So for example, if you wanted to, somebody could say, I'm going to do the solar PV, the geothermal, and I'm going to choose 4 courses from the lineup of emerging renewable technology, and I'm going to get a certificate. You could take a completely different path and decide to do a small business management micro-credential, climate change and energy conservation, building science, and sustainable energy technology certificate would be your result. And you can, of course, add to that and make it a diploma. So there's so many different ways you can do that depending what your interest and skills, the skills you want to build. So this concludes my presentation here. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I would be really happy if you want to join me and contact me, and I can go over this presentation, of course, much more in detail if any one of you is interested to learn more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. That was amazing. And I will now invite all of our speakers to come back on camera. And I learned a lot tonight because we often get, I'm the solar training lead at Solar Alberta, and so people often come to me to ask about our courses, but then they're starting to ask about other programs, and so I find I'm often referring them to different, to your programs, and so now I do know a little bit more about what each of you offers, and it's super helpful. In terms of those of you in the audience, you are welcome to turn your mic on and ask a question directly if you're comfortable. If you have specific questions for one of our speakers, you may do that. You can also type your question in the chat if you would prefer, and I'm be happy to read that out for you. I guess maybe I'll get us started since it doesn't seem like there's anybody jumping to go. I guess a question that comes to mind is the ideal student for each of your programs. So what do you recommend for someone who's seeking to get the most out of your program? Maybe David, I'll start with you.
Great question. I think you'll hear this probably in any post-secondary, but you know, it's really what you put in that you get out. And what we see in our student profile is the students that are really focused, really passionate, really interested, get involved in some of the, you know, the non-curriculum stuff and the field trips, and they make mentoring connections. That's what we see in terms of the ideal student journey. We don't necessarily have an ideal student profile. I will say our sort of over the last few years, our students have been primarily international. That is something that we're looking to find ways of getting more domestic students. But yeah, I think thinking of the students that do best, it's ultimately not necessarily about what's happened before and how they arrive. It's you know, we give everyone a soft landing with this week-long orientation. We get them situated, and we're there to support. And you know, if you're here to learn and here to grow, then we're here to help you. So yeah.
Amazing. How about you, Doug?
Yeah, I guess there is no real ideal student. It's just any student that is excited about clean energy, any student that is passionate about clean energy and wants to make the world a better place, we're very happy to have you in our program. And yeah, those that get engaged in the work and the extracurriculars and all that sort of thing, just like David said, that's ideal for us.
Dean, do you have anything to add about Red Deer Polytechnic?
No, I pretty much echo what David and Doug have said. Being an online course, it is going to have some, you're gonna have to be quite disciplined to finish the 6 weeks. But so you know, just doing that, right? So.
And Kathleen, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yes, I would say, I mean, all backgrounds are welcome. Of course, there's always, like, we see a lot of people from trades and, you know, ex-military too. That's another, and oil and gas. So I would say, because it's online, it's a little bit of a different profile for us. You have to be very driven actually to want to do that, and lots of self-motivation and hard work. Um, so yeah, it's not for everybody, the online. And but if you really work hard, you can really get it done. And as others have said, if you're passionate about it, you're going to succeed. And it's like, that's why I'm providing these like different examples, like such different backgrounds, right? Even like I have a very fun, like a fun one. Actually, it was a doctor. He was the surgeon of his hospital. That's a few years ago. And he, like a doctor, like a medical doctor, and he took this program because he wanted to be able to better advise his board of director. Like, this is how much, you know, this can appeal to you, you know, wherever you are. Like if you're in the banking industry, even, like, you want to know how to assess, you know, somebody's assets, and you know, if they're going to be building and adding solar, well, this is a different kind of calculation now that you need to do. So people, like, it's beyond just the installer, and you know, so just wanted to point that out, that I don't know, I think that's adding a little bit more perspective, right?
Yeah, for sure. So generally what I learned tonight is that two of you at NATE and at Norquest, you're fully in person, no online options. And then Red Deer and Lakeland, Red Deer has some in-person courses, and then also this online option, this brand new online option, and then Lakeland is fully online. Did I summarize that fine?
Yeah, we're fully online.
Excellent. So there's definitely a wide variety. So someone here is asking, for the programs that are in person, do you accept international students to be admitted?
Do we want to go down the line again? Happy to
Sure, go for it,
start
David.
off. Yeah, so broadly, yes, definitely, we accept international students. I'm not going to give any immigration advice. Obviously, keep an eye on the IRCC. There are lots of policy changes. There are lots of things in the news. There's lots of things in the media. So definitely be aware that that things are changing. But yeah, from my perspective, we definitely welcome international students. Our program, our faculty, and our colleges, you know, does have a very strong international component, and we provide lots of supports for international students specifically. So yeah, very, very much welcome.
Yeah, same thing at NATE. We are very welcoming to international students. We have students from all over the world, and we have lots of supports in place for international students. To get more information, you can just go to the NATE website, and then under admissions, you can find information for how to apply if you're an international student.
Great. And Dean, what about your program? Can someone internationally, even this new online option, could an international student apply and then come and fly in for the 1-day course, or how would that work?
Most definitely. I mean, I've only really talked about the online option for the solar installer course, but yes, Red Deer Polytechnic offers quite the expanse of courses, right? So online, or sorry, international students are always welcome, and we have quite a number of international students for in-person classes. But the this solar installer course, for sure, if it will be open to anybody to be able to do, right? If you can make it into that 1 day hands-on day, then for sure.
And Colleen, how does international students, how does that work with your program?
You mean Kathleen, right?
Oh,
You
sorry,
know me?
Kathleen.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, no,
sorry.
that's okay. Well, it's open for international registration. So anyone anywhere in the world can register and take the online courses. I can say we haven't had much interest because students don't qualify for the study permits, right? So this has been not like very popular, I would say, for international, but it is open. And we've had students that immigrated to Canada, and they registered in the program, and then they spent 6 months wherever in Africa, or I've seen people going in England and Africa, and they just, if there's an online class, they'll log in the middle of the night and they just attend their live lecture, right? So it's been working out wherever they are. So
Perfect. Okay, I don't see any other questions. So it sounds like for some of you, it sounds like you have a set path. Like at NATE, your alternative energy program, it doesn't sound like the courses, like there's a lot of options, but then some of you have more, there's more freedom, I suppose, to choose what people would want to take. Is that assessment correct? Maybe Doug, if you want to hit on that first.
Yeah, sure. We don't have a lot of electives in our program, but we do have some electives in the second year, so students can specialize through those electives. But also in our core curriculum, there's an opportunity to specialize within certain courses as well, by doing projects that are specific to the area of the industry that you're interested in working in. For example, the capstone project, we can partner you up with a industry partner in the particular area that you're interested in, and you can work on your project management on that and your capstone project and so on.
Right. And it sounds like the NATE program sounds like you have a cohort of classmates that you go through with. So you probably get to know each other quite well.
Yeah, we have cohorts that start together, and a lot of the students will complete the program in 2 years, so they'll get to know their classmates very well throughout the same classes semester after semester. But a lot of our students will do the program over 3 years instead of 2, so that they can work while they're going to school, and so you'll get to know other students in other cohorts as well.
Right. And how about you, David?
Yeah, very similarly, we do have a there's 20 or so courses. You have to do all the courses and then you get the diploma. Ultimately, you could take 3 or 4 years. There are students that are part-time and maybe only taking 2 or 3 each term, so they're sort of taking it over a longer period. But for the most part, what we see is that people are they're here to study, and they do they do all their courses together. We do particularly things like this introductory course, which is a real kind of it's a pilot that we started last year and did the second time this year. So we really kind of focus on building that classroom community, because what we've seen is the better that you know your classmates and the better you can support each other, the better collectively everyone does. And so we do kind of try and instill that cohort perspective, while appreciating that obviously everyone is on a different journey, and some people might want to do more of a kind of part-time study.
Right. Dean, do you want to add anything about Red Deer Polytechnic? in that regard?
Because we haven't actually had a class yet. Starting October 1st. Really, it's just going to be the one course for now, and we'll kind of see where it goes. Yeah.
Sure.
Hopefully we have a lot of uptake and we can expand. But yeah, right now it's just the one.
Right. And Kathleen, is there anything that you wanted to add about Lakeland in that regard?
I have to say it made it look like there's a lot of incentives, but it's basically how it's structured, right? Like you take micro credential, you go get the skills you want, you stack them. So it feels like it's incentive, but actually you can do all the courses and get the diploma, right? So if you do all the courses, like, I mean, there's some additional options that are in there that you can add, like for example, the hydrogen course, or some of a few other courses, and there's a little bit of flexibility that way. But if you really want to reach the diploma level, you're going to be doing, like the others have mentioned, you're going to be doing all these courses, right? Like it's going to be a lot of work. There is no work around that. The diploma is so many credits, so you have to do the courses. And I think the only thing I can say is that if you just want to get certain skills, like for example, you just want to get solar, you can exit with a credential, which is like a micro credential. So that's a good, I think that's a good exit strategy. If you say, I'm just interested with this and that, I'm just going to do these two paths and then I'm out and I get these micro credentials so I can actually show an employer, what I've done, and have a paper and a transcript.
Yeah. Excellent. Brad is asking about specifically Solar Alberta courses and how they tie into the more informal courses. And so I think that our courses are typically more, because we're a nonprofit and we're offering them over a shorter time frame, Brad, they are more considered sort of professional development. And they're specifically targeted around a specific topic. So we have upcoming the electrical code course, which specifically focuses only on electrical code for 3 nights, over 6 hours. Also, ours are all online. We did offer a commissioning course, an in-person commissioning course this summer. We're hoping to do it again next year at some point, so stay tuned. But I think that overall they're shorter than a lot of the courses that we've heard about tonight. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for, and you're welcome. Anybody on this call is welcome to email me. And I do, as I was saying earlier, I do often, it becomes clear to me as we're having a conversation or we talk over the phone that maybe our courses aren't what you're looking for, and then I can help point you to the other programs. And similarly, I know Kathleen at least was saying that sometimes she has people that will contact her, and what she says is actually, no, I think what you want is just one of Solar Alberta courses. So
it's funny. It happens.
Yeah. But feel free to reach out to me, Stephanie@solaralberta.ca, and I'm happy to help you out. There's another question about the collaborative level. Is there any of the institutions open to exploring partnerships or offering courses tailored to the Middle East region? That may be coming out of the blue for any of you. I'm not sure if any of you are able to answer that at this point. It sounds like Nate has partnerships in Peru.
Well, I can just quickly say, we have an international department. If that is something that you're looking into developing, we're always open to hear about new opportunities and see where that could take us. But yeah, of course, we've done so many different partnerships around the world, actually. So with Lakeland College, we've done a lot on the ag side. I can't say we have done a lot on the renewable energy side. So this is something that would be new, but not new as far as developing international agreements. So if that's something you're interested with, just reach out to me, and we're open to talk about it.
I don't know if any of the others want to add anything. David?
Yeah, equally open. I think so I sit in a faculty that includes the STEM programs I mentioned, but also our business faculty, which is much larger and has various partnerships or is developing various partnerships. So certainly happy to direct any inquiries to the right place for any of those programs.
Our program, the Alternative Energy Technology program at NATE, well, first, we're definitely interested in, we would love to have students come from the Middle East region. That would be great. But we've also had educational partnerships with organizations in Peru and in Cuba and in Cameroon. So we do have some experience with those kinds of things. We just don't currently have a partnership with anybody in the Middle East.
And
And
we,
you?
yeah, in Red Deer Polytech, we have partnered with our electrical down in Trinidad and Tobago, and yeah, that's all that I know of right now, off the top of my head. But we're definitely interested in any kind of collaboration for sure. Yeah.
How would you describe the atmosphere of your programs? David, I'm going to go with you to start. So is it an intense? Is it relaxed? Is there opportunities for students to receive individual support?
Yeah, great question. I think the pretty relaxed ultimately. I mean, we try and instill, particularly with this first week that I mentioned, we really try to get the students comfortable, because as you know, as everyone knows, like when you're more comfortable, when you feel safe, when you feel included, that's the space where you're going to be able to learn. And if you're feeling tense, if you're feeling kind of stressed, um, that makes it more difficult. And so all of our instructors, and particularly me as the program chair, is focused on um, allowing the students to find their best journey through the program. And that might mean that, we have a superstar student that's doing fantastic and is, doing great. But that might mean, a student that needs some more support and has other life challenges and is working night shifts and all that kind of stuff. So there's loads of opportunities for support. We have a whole kind of tutoring area, and academic support, and mental health support. We have a whole center of wellness and harmony, which helps with that, as well as various other services for particular students. So we have an international office, we have an Indigenous Student Services Center, and a Métis student services area. Yeah, so lots of different kind of support mechanisms to help people get through their studies. Ultimately, when it comes down to it, we expect a lot from our students, and we're really, given that we don't have things like exams, we're really kind of getting them to prove themselves in a workforce related way. But we try and do it with a little bit of fun. So just as an example, in this intro course, we do a scavenger hunt on the last afternoon, so they have to go and find all their classrooms, and there's a prize. And we did a field trip to the Indigenous Peoples Experience of Port Edmonton at the end of that week as well. So kind of lots of just opportunities to connect, make friends, and collaborate. Obviously we're very serious about the academic side of things, but we want to foster foster a great atmosphere and a supportive atmosphere as well.
Doug, do you want to go next?
Sure, yeah. Our program is pretty much the same as Norquest with David's description there. We're very supportive of students. We're very inclusive. Our classes are very small. Our classes right now are, around 20 students or so. So there's lots of one-on-one opportunity for individual supports. We've got a lot of collaborative work in the program as well. And yeah, it's just the atmosphere is one of excitement and collaboration and support.
Amazing. Dean.
Again, because it's so new. There will definitely be support for the students as they traverse the 6 weeks of there's a lot of material to go through. So um, and but once they do get into the hands-on portion, so that one Saturday, it's going to be fairly relaxed, and I mean they would be expected to be able to do all the things that they've learned up to that point. So, um, but nothing, and it would be very small. We're expecting probably no more than 12. So.
Okay. And Kathleen.
Well, our students are mature students, and since they're online, of course, at Lakeland College, we have full support services, like others have mentioned. As a post-secondary institution, we do have accessibility services and an indigenous center, lots going on. But the online students often, because they're not on campus, they don't take full advantage of all the services. But obviously, accessibility is a big one. I think that for online students that have been accessing it, for example, if any student has like a disability or is going through anything, these services are still available virtually for them, and they can still take advantage of that. There's so many tools that can be offered, exam accommodations, like all of this is provided, although they're online. And as far as like atmosphere, it's a very mature student pool. So it's a different type of atmosphere. It's not their parents paying for their tuition; they pay for their tuition. So they're really serious about this education, right? So they're there to learn. They want to take full advantage of the time that they have during this virtual class. They want to take full advantage of all the resources that's provided to them, and they're really enjoying the learning because that's something they really chose. And I'm sure that's, I speak for all of us here, because it's a passion, right? Like you see people going into this field because they're passionate about many of the things that David mentioned at the beginning, right? Like there's a little bit of a passion there. So I think it really drives the vibe.
Yeah, for sure. I am sort of out of questions, and I'm just wondering if anybody here, you're welcome to ask a question. Just a reminder, if anyone listening has a question, or if any of you have something that you just remembered and you really want to tell us about before we end for tonight. It sounds like, actually, I just wanted to follow up. So the Norquest and Nate, you both have sort of kind of an internship or apprenticeship type programs. That's not, but that's different from Red Deer and Lakeland, correct? There's no apprenticeship options. Well, with the short program that you're offering, Dean, I'm imagining in Red Deer College more broadly, there might be apprenticeship programs.
Most definitely, right? Yes, we have quite a number of trades, but yeah, just focusing on the solar installation course. Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Well,
And just to be clear, the co-op term that we have as part of our program is a 4-month work term, which is paid. It's not guaranteed, so you have to kind of apply for a job. And we have a whole team that's working on creating those opportunities, some of which might be Norquest exclusive, but many are open to students across Alberta and Canada. But yeah, just to create a distinction between an apprenticeship, which is where you're kind of typically in a trades thing where you're learning, but you're also kind of working throughout your program. Our course is essentially a summer where you're working and not doing any courses. So just if anyone's curious about the distinction between an apprenticeship and a co-op, they are slightly different things.
right.
Yeah.
How many of your students do get a co-op position?
So we've had one so far in our 3 years over the last summer. So
that didn't get one, or
that did. that did. So
Oh,
it
okay.
is optional within the program, and
Oh, I see.
there's been when you're starting a new program, it always takes a while to get things up and running. So yeah, we're just doing the intakes right now for next summer, and I think we have about 15 different students interested. So looking
Great.
at expanding.
Colleen,
And
or
that
Kathleen, sorry.
no,
You wanted
sorry.
to jump in there.
Oh, yes, I was just going to say that's something I didn't mention, but that's also an option in our program. Like if somebody wants to do, we call it work integrated learning. So that's work into, so they can find an employer, and it's replacing the lab. So if they don't want to do the hands-on lab, they have an employer industry partner that's interested to hire them. They can do that as well, and so we have that option. And so, but it is different from an apprenticeship. So I completely understand what David is explaining here. And I'm sure that most people understand that, but it is not a government regulated apprenticeship. It definitely is a work integrated learning, which is where you will get your hands-on, industry experience.
Right. Great. And Doug, sorry, I cut you off there.
No, sorry, I was just jumping in there prematurely. Yeah, we don't have an apprenticeship either. It's students in their second year work with an industry partner on a project. And so it's kind of like work integrated learning as well. And I did forget to mention previously that we are just now about to introduce a co-op option into our program as well, where students will have an opportunity to work for a period of time in the middle of the diploma program for an industry partner. It'll be a paid job, and then they'll come back and complete the diploma program with us.
Great. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions from the audience, we will be making this recording available to you in about a week or two. We will put it on our YouTube channel. So for the presenters today, you're also welcome to share it more widely if you like. And you could share it with your friends. If there's anybody who missed tonight, I think there were more people registered than came. So hopefully they'll get a chance to hear everything you have to say and learn from you. And I'm just really grateful for all of your time tonight. So thanks for joining us.
Sorry, can I just jump in with one
Oh,
final plug?
absolutely.
I didn't include this in my slides, but we do actually have an open house in a couple of weeks. I'm going to throw the link in the chat. So if you are curious, just Norquest more broadly, as I said, I'll be there, as well as all of the programs at Norquest. It's always a fun day to come hang out. So if you're around in downtown Edmonton, feel free to pop in.
Oh, super. Which day is that, David?
The 19th of October.
Okay.
So apologies for those watching the video that this won't be relevant to.
Well, no problem. But what we can do is, I see Nate also has an open house. So if any of you have open houses or any kind of information coming up, maybe if you can forward that to me in an email, and we can actually add that in the email that we follow up with everybody who's attended here, and we can send that information out as well. So thank you very much for your time, and I will let you get back to your children and your pets or whoever is waiting for you. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.